Do I need to code to make a game? This question was posted in the forum and it has no simple answer, so let me explain it. First, we need to start answering a simple question. What is code? Code is giving instructions to the computer in a way that it can understand us, telling it what to do or solve a specific problem. Like when you press a certain key in the keyboard, what happens, or when the enemy is close to the player and it reacts to do something. Basically, it's talking to the computer in a way it can understand us. Each game engine uses different language. I will be using Unreal Engine because that's the one that I use most. We will try to make a simple sphere that moves through time. Just simple, keep it simple. We will do it in two ways, one in Blueprints, another in C++. So for this example I already created a map and make some minor stuff to get ready for this. I created two materials, a red-based color material for the C++ version, and the blue one for the Blueprint version. I'm going to create a blueprint derived from an actor class, add a sphere mesh component, paint it blue, and I want to move it just one unit at a time. Each frame it will move one unit. So after 1 second, if we have 16 frames per second, it will move in 1 second 60 units. 60 units of distance. So let's start translating it to the computer. First we say on each frame. So that means we will be using on tick event that it's going to be called each frame before each frame is drawn in the screen. Then let's say I want to move. Add actor local offset of 1 unit to the y-axis. This example is like talking. When we talk we use subject and predicate. The subject here is the actor itself that we have created, this sphere. And the predicate is the verb move. This is a really simple example, so let's simulate what happens when I do this. I will put this in the screen. As you can see, the sphere is slowly moving along the green arrow of the object that is its y-axis. We need to be precise because we are telling the object to move along his y-axis, not the word align y-axis. Why this is important? If we rotate the object, we can see it will not move the way we expected. If you're new to this, you maybe be confused, maybe. Maybe you're smarter than me, by far. We can test it duplicating it and see each sphere will move in a different directions. But it's because we set that to the computer, it's going to move along the y-axis relative to the object. So we successfully told to the computer what to do with this sphere. That's called coding. In this case it's visual coding. It's an easy way to code, but still coding. Now let's see in a more traditional way of coding. Let's try to do it in C++. Again we will create an actor, but this one derived from a C++ class, and of an actor of course, exactly like the blueprint. I have to define the static mesh component sphere that will be added to the actor. It seems a bit more confusing than simply dragging and dropping the component, doesn't it? In the tick event we write this. We are telling the actor to move in its local y-axis one unit at a time, or at a frame. If you notice, we are done exactly the same but in a different way, like in a different language. But still we haven't done all yet. We have to tell in this part that the tick is enabled, so it can be called each tick, each frame. We create a mesh component and add it to the root. We create a static mesh component and assign it the sphere and add it to that, or assign it to that. And let's change the material to red. All it's done in code, writing commands. If you think, we've done these steps before but in a visual way, clicking with the mouse on options, but it's the same. So it can be perceived that it's easier in the blueprints mode, but they are basically the same. We are telling the computer what to do, in a specific way. So why programming is difficult? The trick here is the word specifically. If you're not specific enough, the computer will have problems understanding. If you're vague in some sentence, you can lead to bugs. Or in worst case, when it's written language, if you don't get the syntaxes right, the computer just will tell you an error saying I don't understand you, but in more fancy way. This makes visual scripting easiest or more friendly for beginners. But usually it has its own downsides. Usually it's slower, but for small games it's not a problem. But if you're making a AAA game with multiplayer connections, yeah, every millisecond counts, so it's preferred to use C++. If you have more experience with coding, you will be yelling at this point to me that that's not the way to move an object. Yes, because we didn't took time into consideration. Our code has a flaw. If we run in a slower computer, like it just only gives us 30 frames a second, it will move 30 units each second. And if your computer is faster and run at 60 frames per second, it will move the double speed. It will be moved 60 units each second. So that's a big difference. It would compromise the game itself, how players play it. It would compromise the playability, yes. Now if we want exactly to move 60 frames each second, we just have to multiply that speed by the time that has passed that is provided here. Now this code will run similar in a faster computer than a slower. That's good, because it will compensate the time between each frame. This helps because not every time the frames are stable. That's a good solution. This little problem shows us that you can always improve your code. If you think what happens or what could happen in a machine or when the player do this or do that, so you will always find a new way to do things better while you're programming. That's what makes it difficult. Now with all this knowledge, let's go back to the original question. Can't you do a game without coding? So in a way, yes, you can. You can use some game engines like RPG Maker. You can make RPGs like 2D old school sprite format, and it's quite easy. You just have to add the graphics and do some and move some options to have your game run and ready. You don't have to code anything. I think they have scripts if you want, but let's assume you're not going to use it. But the problem is you are tied to what the program can do. If you have another interest, idea or mechanic, you won't be able to add it to your game. Visual Novel Maker. Those are engines specifically for visual novels. If you want to do a visual novel, you are a good artist and you have a nice idea of a story, you could use them and you don't need to program, just move options again. Mugen could be another example. You can make fighting games there, but it's really confusing because it's not coding, but all the options you have to change it in text. So it's close to code, but I don't know, depends on you. As you can see, the real problem here is, yes, you can do it, but you are just tied to what the program can do. You can add something innovative or something, a brilliant idea that you have for your game. You have to accommodate your game to what the program can make. We have another level to this problem. You can use general game engines like Unity or Unreal Engine, and you can buy in the marketplace. They sell some like pre-made games. They are assets that they have almost all the mechanics included. So you just have to change the pictures, the sprites, or things, small things like that. You have certain options. Still, if you don't like coding or you don't know how to code, your game just will do what the asset is designed to do. You can't add anything. But in this case it's better because if you learn later you gain some coding experience, you could add or change something in the code here. It's a good way to start coding maybe for you. That's why programs like RPG Maker become RPG Maker Unite. They make the same but in an asset for a marketplace for Unity, so you can combine the power of Unity with the already known RPG Maker. This experiment didn't went so well as I heard from some users, but still I think it could improve over time. Now that you understand programming, you understand that if you know how to program, sky is the limit. You can do whatever mechanic you think. The only limitation is your knowledge. Programming or coding is not an easy task. Usually people like to copy and paste code, but that brings other problems to the table. That if you don't understand what you're doing, if you have a bug, you won't be able to solve it. Maybe some AI could help to solve it. If it's simple, you're at the risk of having bugs that you don't understand why it happens. Remember, programming is just talking to the computer. If you talk nonsense, the other part won't understand what to do in certain situations. To learn to program, it takes a lot of trial and error, a lot of experience, and never think oh, this will never happen. Trust me, the players will always find a way to make what you think they won't ever do it. Another good solution would be to team up with somebody who can program. The best way to do is share what you do. If you have a portfolio, or make a small portfolio so other people can see what you are capable of and they will join it to make a compensated team. Now that you know all this, good luck in your decision and time to choose your destiny. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and share it with friends who maybe are starting in this journey. And if you think this video is bad, please write me in the comments and I will try to improve what I'm doing wrong. I will try to improve myself and make a better content. So, see you in my next video. Hasta luego, amigos. I am Casero Juan.